Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. Thank all of you for being here, and thank you all for your patience. We have a very special show today, you guys, and two people are going to be joining me in discussing this call to action as we continue to take proactive, measured steps to ensure that there are no more kids stuck inside hotels and commercial buildings of Scientology. So, the first person I'm going to bring up with you all is somebody that you all know and love very much, Ms. Ono Nora. Hello, Nora.
Hello, everybody. I guess, I've just been kind of a little bit everywhere today, but yeah. Hi.
Hello. And our other guests, you guys, we are here to meet Miss Mona. Hello, Miss Mona.
Whoop, whoop.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to my boudoir.
Boudoir.
Oh,
They
I got
should all
done.
be so lucky.
I happen to be paralyzed and I blew out my shoulders a couple of months ago. So, with that, I have been stuck in bed quite a lot.
Well, you
So,
know what? I think it's giving power surge because you're still, surging through life as if nothing happened.
you're right. Well, it
Mhm.
gives me a lot of time on my hands to do this, right?
Well, and for
Yeah.
that, we're lucky, you guys, because I would like to introduce Mona to discuss an option that she has researched, and she wanted to discuss this with all of you guys. And then Nora and I were going to also chime in. So, by all means, Mona, take people through what we want to
Okay.
talk about today.
I'll take you back a little bit. Back
Yeah.
in January, February, when all of this started, everybody got on the bandwagon of let's get the 501c3 revoked. And so that put me on a spin and down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out how to get the 501c3 revoked. I've got a really large business background, done a lot with nonprofits and a lot with the different religious activities also. So
Mhm.
all three areas are in my wheelhouse. So I started looking into it, researching what the law says, what the IRS says, what other people have researched, people like um, the Money Management Project, Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff Augustine.
Jeff
Mhm.
Augustine.
He's done a lot of research. There's been so much done in the past. And so I found that the 501c3, when it was given back in 1993, basically, of course, they went through all those hoops for the 23, 24 years. They did all of that action and call to action, and where the FBI swept everything, and all of that made it to where they did an agreement in 1999 with the IRS. He went in, Mike Rinder, Marty Rathburn, and forgive me if I don't know all the names correct, and David Miscavige
You said
all
them
went
right.
in with the IRS commissioner and made an agreement basically saying they can screw chickens on the back lawn and not get their 501c3 revoked.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that was what the agreement said. And the IRS cannot open an audit on them, even for screwing chickens. Not that there's anything wrong with screwing chickens. But okay, there is. I'm just being goofy.
Mona, Mona. Well,
No
we'll stay on
chickens,
target here.
guys.
We'll stay on
No ch
target.
Okay, so but there's a clause in that 1999 agreement that also is part of the law saying that no nonprofit organization or religious organization can keep their exempt status if they have illegal activity or if they violate fundamental public policy. We all know that the Church of Scientologies and all of its fingerlings do illegal activities and violate fundamental public policy. I have a bug running around. So that got me down that part of it also is okay. So how do we prove this? How do we prove that they are doing illegal activities and violating public policy? Well, in cases such as the FLDS and the Catholic Church, when those things happened, they attributed it to single people.
Yeah.
Warren Jeffs, he's in jail for uh, raping, graping the youngers. The priests,
Mhm.
they did time, or the priests were um, sanctioned for it,
Mhm.
not the churches themselves. FLTS, they still have a 501c3 status, and they're still a church, albeit smaller, but they still are. And so that didn't work. We couldn't prove that Mike Rinder or Marty Rathbun or so did it. You had to prove that the church did it, the doctrine did it. So I
Correct.
started going down that. Well, then came Liz Gale.
Mm.
And you guys did that absolutely beautiful, tear-jerking march around the Celebrity Center with all of those names on the receipt. And
Yeah.
I thought, oh, there's our receipts. That's how we're going to tie it together. Liz Gale is going to tie all this together. So I did a intro and I started it by working with the Office of Inspector General for the LAPD and using the claims against LAPD and the Office of Inspector General, using those claims as a Trojan horse to work into claims against the LAPD. And I thought, that's a way we could probably get into the Department of Justice also to get their 501c3 proven that they're doing illegal activities. So I started writing and looking at the different things. And because of all of your, and I mean anybody who was in Scientology, your arbitration agreements, you personally cannot go through that without having to go through the mud and the muck
Correct.
of trying to fight the arbitration agreement.
Yeah.
But you never signed a damn thing that says you can't claim against the FBI. Nothing says you can't say, FBI, you've been given proof. You had Mike Rinder bring, and we can debate this all day long, but he brought supposed paperwork in there and said, this is what happened to the adults. They all got smacked around by David Miscavige. That was there. I know you've claimed against the FBI in the past, Serge. I know others have claimed, and it's still gone on deaf ears.
Yeah.
So through this, they have ignored and they have not protected the children of Scientology or allowed them due process.
No.
So we need to claim against the FBI and the IRS to the Office of Inspector General, which is the Department of Justice. Now there's 5 ways. Take a step back. Sorry, I missed the spot. There's 5 ways that they can have their areas revoked. The first 4 are litigated, adjudicated by the IRS. And because of that 1999 agreement, that's never going to happen. Those first 4 ways. The 5th way, which is the illegal activity, is adjudicated by the Department of Justice. So because the FBI is under the Department of Justice, we go through the loophole saying, FBI, you didn't protect us, you didn't offer us due process. We're complaining to the Department of Justice to have the FBI investigated. So you, as children of Scientologies that have been abused, that's where the complaint is against the FBI and the IRS to the Department of Justice.
Mhm.
Now, Can you play that, or do you want me to play? Can I play it from my end?
I don't know if you're going to be able to have the access of sharing screen because I'm hosting this. So I would
And
probably, but I can play it. I mean, I can put it on and I can put play on it.
it just
Yeah.
wasn't showing the way it was supposed to.
Well, let's see what we
No,
can
it's
do with
not
it.
letting me.
So I can press play on this. Is that what you want?
Okay, press play. Let's
Okay.
see what it does. It's missing some of the pictures.
Hmm. Is this okay or?
It is that's what
Okay.
it's doing.
Okay, I'm moving it. So why don't you just pick it from the very beginning and you just explain to
Okay,
everyone?
so and it's missing the very last picture, but that's okay. We'll
Okay.
use our imaginations.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a quick people are thinking, you and I know Michael and everybody else have thought that this will open claims of abuse and this is going to be a huge deal. It's not. It is
Mhm,
strictly directed toward the FBI through the Department of Justice. So
mhm,
imagine, if you will, there's a group, an audience of 200 people. You have the FBI and the IRS up on stage doing their little dance. Next slide. People keep going to them. I've been hurt. I've been abused. I was put in the hole. We won't reference where that one came from.
mhm,
And the people are yelling this and saying, and you're not protecting us. And the FBI just kind of flips it off. They don't care. The show just goes on. Next page. Well, one person stands up and says, hey, what about the previous claims? The IRS and the FBI should have their 501c3 status removed. Protect us. Next slide. And the FBI came back, which they did. They called me here and said, if the people are hurt, let them file their own claims in their own areas. And they basically gave me the brush off.
okay.
The IRS is just still saying, leave us alone. Next slide.
Okay. Mhm,
So then stand up again and I say, no, the law says you can't do illegal things or violate public policy. The IRS and the FBI should have their 501c3 status removed. You're not protecting us. Restating exactly what we just said. And then the FBI comes back and says, no, we have no proof. There are no receipts. And of course, the IRS flippantly says, let them eat cake. Next
mm.
slide. This
Oh,
is where the whole audience, there's a picture of the whole audience where they stand up, and we're missing that picture.
oh, I see the
But
end.
the
Okay.
whole audience stands, and we, as all the audience, all of the receipts, say we want their 501c3 status permanently revoked in an emergency situation, or in the least, suspended until this investigation gets taken care of. And two, we want the IAS, the International Association of Scientologists member trust, which is where the billions of dollars sit. And there's only 4 people that are allowed to sign off on it for David Miscavige. That's where the billions of dollars, we want that frozen until this is investigated. So we take away their exempt status and we take away their money. And as we stand up, boom, those are their choices. So standing up and being counted is as easy as, if you want to pull up that document, Serge.
Yes. Well, and I wanted to just say something what you're talking about, Mona, because what
Okay.
you said is exactly correct. All these underage contracts that we're still in America being told that signing contracts as children is fully legal and fully binding. So let everyone fully sink into that. You bring a child from Mexico, you make him sign a so-called arbitration contract. He's got no education in the American system. He's got no education or schooling. He's got no attorneys of their own. And underage kids are being, by the courts, Valerie Haney, Exhibit A,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
being made
Mhm.
responsible for what she was brought in as a child to do. There is literal arrested development that happens as you get stuck inside of a hotel, fed a diet of 24/7 rhetoric from a convicted felon.
That's
You have
right.
no idea how anything operates outside of the hotel, given that we had no way of leaving the hotel. We were
And if a
locked,
parent signs
kidnapped
it for them, that is child
24/7.
abuse.
So we were locked 24/7 inside of a hotel, not allowed to read or see anything outside of the hotels, brought from another country. And we're being told in these United States that that is a very binding contract that underage children are going to be held to
Oh, yeah.
account, right?
For a billion years.
Oh, yeah. I never
No.
for a second thought that wasn't real when I was a kid, that I was committing myself to that. Yeah.
Absolutely not. Now, see, if we all stand up and we all say, this is unacceptable. You cannot do this. You may not do this. This is not right. This is the FBI. You are not protecting the children of Scientology. They're going to come back with 3 different answers. Yep, you're correct. We're doing what you want. That would be the best, right? 2, no, this is a bunch of hogwash. We're not doing anything. Or 3, they sit on it and stuff it in a drawer somewhere. All three answers is an answer. The
Yeah.
first one, as I said, would be the best scenario. The second one, the no and the stuff it in a drawer, will just kind of take our damn sweet time. Both of those, if those are the answers, this gives us the power to go to the next step, either congressional or presidential.
hmm
Okay. And then what I
So-
wanted to also add to this, Mona, is that there is a pattern now. So
Yes.
FBI, grab your notebook and write it down. Write down the name Epstein. There's already lawsuits. Y'all are being sued for not protecting the Epstein victims.
Correct.
Then write down point
Nassar.
number 2. Larry Nassar. The other minors that you didn't protect whatsoever. You're being
Correct.
sued. You had to settle. Imagine that Scientology is those 2 on steroids. The amount of kids that were trafficked makes Epstein and Nassar look like nothing. Like it's one. There's hundreds and thousands of minors implicated and ensnared in something that is so egregious. And going back to your point, Mona, this is a case. And as
Yes,
much
it
as
is.
everyone plays dumb on a full-time basis, this is a case where the rhetoric said what it said to do, where everyone did whatever in the hell the rhetoric said. No one had an idea. No one veered off to the side. No one was allowed. This was monitored 24/7. The only thing that was allowed to be done was whatever the convicted felon said. And everyone else acted as an enforcer of whatever the convicted felon said. Given that that's the case, FBI, prepare to deal
Yep.
with a case Nassar and Epstein on steroids.
Yeah.
It is
Yep.
exponentially bigger. And you exported this with a straight face across the entire world, no less. So
Yeah.
America has a lot of explaining to do, starting from the FBI headquarters that have been told, that had gone and sanctioned boxes, that have gone and grabbed the evidence, all the receipts. The FBI is fully aware. And if you're
And
not
they
moving,
haven't done
then you really have to
squat.
ask yourselves what in the literal hell is going on at the FBI. Because, you know, if you didn't think that kids were implicated, you've been told and you've been told and you've been told. If you didn't think that, you know, you could analyze the technology of L. Ron Hubbard, you've been told that whatever that convicted felon pitched cannot be consented with a minor because it presents power dynamic imbalances
Yep.
that you cannot even imagine, that are indefensible. We welcome the FBI to start explaining to us how power dynamic imbalances pitched by convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard were a religious experience that a child was having, getting locked up against their will inside of a hotel for hours on end ad nauseum.
Mhm.
So given that that's false imprisonment, given that that's kidnapping, it wasn't very religious in nature. For the parents, yes. For the adults, it was wonderful. It was amazing. You can find hundreds of success stories. Why? Because they consented. They liked it rough, just like L. Ron Hubbard wrote it. So you know what? They're not going to get saved. They're not going to be cradled and canoodled. They're nowhere to be found on the record repudiating, sounding the alarm on themselves. They're all in there pointing fingers at each other as if it's that. Because you know what? It's not that. Whoever got ensnared went to become an L. Ron Hubbard, meaning they're all complicit. They're all up to their neck and ears in criminal liability because they all did the same thing. All Scientology parents brought their children to the hotel. So if you think Ruby Frankie was a bad idea and all of that, Ruby Frankie just shows you Scientology mom, Ruby Frankie, Jody Hildebrandt, the therapist, religious counselor.
Yeah.
They were all conspiring to commit aggravated child abuse, which is a severe, grave felony. And no matter how many demons they said they were pulling as the kids were kidnapped and abused in unthinkable ways, the court won't hear what these people were doing to us and pretend that there's a very religious experience. That narrative is done. It's done and over, because what you just said, Mona, is the fact that the rhetoric dictates the terms. This isn't theology. This isn't, oh, Nora, you interpreted your way. I interpreted my way. Over there, they're interpreting it like that.
No.
They're
Facts
all
are
doing
facts.
the same thing.
Yeah.
And
You know,
that is
when Liz Gale put that list together, I know some, bless their souls, some people are not with us anymore, and I'm so sad for that. But right now it's up to 186 names the last time I talked to Liz.
Mhm.
That they can destroy all the videos they want, they can destroy all the paper, they can use all the paper shredder, but we have 186 receipts of abuse. 186. I'm sorry, I get so
No, that's
passionate.
all right.
I
It's
get
the
so
correct
passionate
emotion.
because 186 people can stand up and say no more. Not
Correct.
one more kid, not one more child needs to be abused. We don't need paperwork. We don't need documents. It's there, and that'll just help it. But no more, not one more child needs to be hurt. And if one more child, if they don't pull the 501c3 and one more child is hurt, it is on them all the way.
So what it was asked in the chat, and I just want to make sure we get to that because I know you were going to pull it up, Serge. So Mona, please let us know, what can we do? What's our next step here in this mission?
Next step, when Serge pulls it up, what we need to do is there's 2 addresses on the document that I have. It's that Word document. The first one is the more important one. The second one to the IRS, it'll get there. I mean, if you want to send 2 claims, that'd be fine. But the first one, the link is the main one. But if you don't mind, let me go ahead and read through this so that way people understand that they're not going to be trying to get rid of any claims that they have going, and it won't invalidate anything that they already have. So what you would need to do is when we get to that point, because I'm going to walk you through it and show you how easy it is.
Do you want me to read it for you, Mona, so it's easier for me to see it in the big screen?
Sure.
Okay.
So you would just click on that first link, and then and I'll walk you through that part. But why don't you go ahead and read it?
So you click on the link, and basically what the form is, guys, is I, provide your name, would like to submit a complaint. I was physically, mentally, or sexually abused or neglected as a child, and the FBI and the Internal Revenue Services did not protect me or allow me to have due process. The FBI and the IRS did not investigate properly, if at all. Allegations of illegal activity and violations of public policy, allegations of abuse and neglect from the Scientology beliefs, practices, and doctrine of auditing, ethics handling, and courses to include practices of purification and disconnection. These practices are enforced and administered to children, not only 8 to 17, but babies as young as 1 day old. Per the IRS document, publication 1828, page 4, the IRC rule for exemption organizations is found 5 distinct ways to lose your tax-exempt status. Jeopardizing tax-exempt status, all IRC Section 501c3 organizations, including churches and religious organizations, must abide by certain rules. Their net earnings may not inure to any private shareholder or individual. They must
That's what
not
they got him for in 69. That was what they did in 69 to get it taken out then.
Correct.
Got it. They must not provide a substantial benefit to private interest. They must not devote a substantial part of their activities to attempting to influence legislation. They must not participate in or intervene in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office, and the organization's purpose and activities may not be illegal or violate fundamental public policy. Complaint against the FBI and IRS include abuse of all the command channels of Scientology, to include not exhaustive of Church of Scientology International, CSI, Religious Technology Center, Church of Spiritual Technology, the Sea Org, an incorporated volunteer religious organization, International Association of Scientologists, all trustees of the US IISMT, all COS that are licensed from CSI, Bridge Publications, Golden Era Productions, the Mace Kingsley Family Centers, and David Miscavige. I have attached the list of other names that are proclaiming there's been continuing to be this illegal activity of aggravated child abuse, violations of public exposing policy, exposing minors to sexually explicit content, sexual abuse, sex crimes, physical abuse, mental abuse, physical neglect, mental neglect, and basic human right violations. The list can be found at this website. Personal interviews and affidavits can be obtained through any of these people. Those that have died due to Scientology's crimes have relatives that can be called on. Notable people on the list that have been public about their abuse: Aaron Smith-Levin, Colin Smith-Levin, R.I.P., Serge Delmar, Liz Gale, Philip Gale, R.I.P., Laura Anderson, Eric Rayner, Natalie Webster, Laura Webster, Jenna Miscavige, Mike Brown, Miriam Francis, Nora Ames, Liz Ferris, Reese Quivel, Louis Repetto, and other ex-Scientologists that have made claims to the FBI: Mike Rinder, Leah Remini, Amy Scovey. All were children victimized by the organization. However, their previous claims were for adult violence. There are personal witness statements that can be made that are files taken by Mike Rinder from the Office of Special Affairs, where he left, that will prove without a doubt the abuses being claimed. Definitions of each of the 4 and 5 ways given in the publication. The 5th definition must be taken from the IRS POV, titled Activities that are Illegal or Contrary to Public Policy. In this document, there is a substantiability test noted. 2, determining substantiability. According to the analysis of GCM 34431 dated for October 71, in determining whether disqualifying activities are present to a significant extent, that is, when they become substantial, more must be considered than the ratio they bear to activities in furtherance of exempt purposes. The nature of such acts is as important as their quantity. A great many violations of local pollution regulations amounting to sizable percentage of organizations' operations might be required to disqualify it from 501c3 exemption. Yet, if only a small fraction of its activities were directed to robbing banks, it would not be exempt. This is an example of an act having substantial non-exempt nature while lacking substantiability of amount. very little planned violence of terrorism would constitute substantial activities not in furtherance of exempt purpose. In this complaint, I'm claiming all command channels of Scientology, that include CSI, RTC, CST, and all COS licensed churches, are subject to the substantiability test. And if robbing bank qualifies, then certainly aggravated child abuse and child sexual abuse fits the bill. Because of the criminal and violent nature of the complaint, it is of the utmost urgency to have not one more child added to the list. I am proposing two solutions. One, COS and all related religious support entities affiliated to CSI to have their 501(c)(3) tax exempt status immediately revoked under emergency declaration. If not immediately revoked, at minimum suspended until the matter is resolved. And two, the US IASMT has full fiduciary authority of all funds created by CSI, RTC, CST churches. Silence under CSI. There are only 4 trustees that are that report directly to the David Miscavige, the leader of the Church of Scientology and the commander of the Sea Org. I am asking funds and accounts to be frozen to this trust until this resolution is made.
Now, it does sound
I'll
kind
do
of
that.
long, but it has all the pertinent legal phrases and details that are needed for this.
Mhm.
So how easy it is, everything's been written. The only thing you need to do is up in where it says put my name, is for you to erase that, put your name in there. Click
Yeah,
on that link. Go ahead.
Oh no, I
Nora.
was going to bring up the link for you here. Let me bring up
Okay.
the link. When you click on when you go to the link at the top, you're going to see this page here. And can you add that in, Serge? The page that I'm sharing at the bottom.
Yeah, hold on. Let me stop this screen. Here we go.
There we go. So it'll take you to this page, okay, where you're going to file your complaint, and there is information for you to fill out. This is just your personal info here, and then
Nope, you just hit submit an online report.
right.
Click the button.
Yes. And then you can submit it anonymously, or you can put all your information in there. It's up to you.
But if you do it anonymously, that kind of defeats the purpose.
Right. So we would.
So if you want to do
be
it,
great.
you don't have to put like your address and everything in there, but you
That's
at
not
least
required.
want to put the starred.
The red starred.
Yeah, the red starred things. And so it's really quick and easy. The only thing that I wanted to bring up is if you go down a little, it'll say there's a pull down. Go back up. Go back up. It says, no, go back down. It's in the form itself.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Might be on the
next page. Like we have to
it
fill
might
it
be
out.
on the next page. So you fill out at least the starred things. It's not going to let you go to the next page unless you have that.
No. So
So
the
I
only
just
thing you have to
file
fill
it
out is
like a weird thing just to like
Yeah, you can just put in, yep,
your last name.
la 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 la. You don't have to put an address. You do need to put a city or town.
Okay. Okay. So it should let us go to the next page now, at least, right?
Let's see. Yep.
Subject title.
Okay, now title, where the drop down says title, click on that.
Oh, this is Mr. or Mrs. or whatever.
Oh, because you know what? We missed one of them. So you're going to have to put your la 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 back in there. Okay, see down here where it says, no, go back up, where it says subject, down, subject,
First name.
after last name.
Subject component.
Subject component, right. That's where
Mhm.
you click. That's the
Mm.
only thing odd about this. When you click that, it'll say FBI, IRS, blah, 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 blah. And you have to
Mhm.
click FBI.
And we want to select FBI, guys.
You want to select FBI.
Yeah.
Right. So then you have to fill in your pseudo names there before you can go to the next page.
Hmm.
All right. So you want me to do the same thing here,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, redo it again. Yep.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's all
I
right.
knew it was on that first page because we had that happen before.
And while Serge is filling all this out, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to everybody. That does help our algorithm. If you like it, if you leave a comment, thank you guys, everybody who's commenting. We are going to try and circle back to additional questions that are pertinent to what we're talking about. But just as a reminder for the algorithm, thank you so much.
I would be so honored if you guys would help me get my
If you
subscription
guys
up.
aren't subscribed to Mona at Fat Grammy, please do that. Please open this stream up on her account and give her some watch hours and some likes and some subscribes. Look at all this work she's done, guys. This is once again, I'm going to say it again, and I said it to you earlier today. I said it to Jamie when I spoke with him. I said it on the stream with Aaron. The never ends are going to be the ones who take Scientology down. And this is just more evidence of that, Mona. Here you are with this fabulously written document that we can all just insert name, pop it in there, and let's get this mass reported to the FBI so that they have to stand up and pay attention that we are not just here, for clicks. We're here to take down a child human trafficking cult that is been allowed to run amok in this country and frankly the whole world under the cloak of religion. And it's enough. Enough is enough. And I pointed out to Aaron today that these protests and everything else have been going on for a year. It went from just us, like me, Serge, Aaron, Mike, Mark, and Claire, and Amy. And now that was like 7 of us. Now we have 203 as of today channels live streaming on a daily basis around the world, showing the truth about Scientology. That's in 1 year, guys. So this
It's amazing.
is going to be, we have to keep this momentum going. We have to keep pushing this envelope ahead. And this is how we do it, because now we're taking it to, 11. We're going to start involving the actual authorities that can get these wheels in motion to shut it down. All right. So now we're on the next page. Go for it, Serge.
So on this page, Serge, all you do is you go to the document and we can all put this document in our community page. You copy everything, not the links, but you copy blah, blah, blah to the bottom and paste it.
So you just go like this.
And then you go up and you put your name in there. Where it says provide your name, erase that, put your name.
And that's it.
And that's it. You go down and hit submit.
And done. Well, you have a couple other things to fill out.
Well, you can, but the date, let's all leave the date consistent.
So what date are we putting? You do have to put your city and state, but that's not fine. What date are we putting down?
To just whatever date today is fine.
Whatever day you submit it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
A link to Mona's channel coming right up, guys. Coming right up.
And they're looking for reporting fraud, you guys. And that is what we are reporting. We're reporting a fraud. None of the kids that were ensnared in this fraud were supposed to be ensnared in this fraud. Let's just put it that simple to the FBI. Because again, the bottom line is whatever in the hell L. Ron Hubbard pitched to be done is nothing that a child can be expected to participate in. So
Mhm.
Scientology parents overriding your child's ability to consent to things and you exposing a child to scenarios where they're not able to consent is aggravated child abuse. So go check it out, go read what it says, and start calling criminal attorneys for yourselves. Because you know what? Start doing the research early so you can get ahead of this. Start figuring out how you, Scientology parents, can cooperate. Because I've said this all along, Mona. This is what all children that were abused can now fill out for themselves so that there's a record of them existing and complaining. It's a
Agreed.
very
And
simple.
this creates a couple of categories. The children of Scientology that are grown, that have been since, I mean, that's all of you guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The children of people that are still under the radar. They can go in and let's say you know in your gut that your children, you know in your gut, but you still can't get out or you don't want to get out or you're afraid or whatever, you can make this claim for your children. And if I can use an example, somebody that I've watched quite often, Reese Quibell,
Mhm.
her son was not, she, and I don't know this for sure, but from what she said on her lives, is that she didn't have her son go through the auditing process or the ethics handling.
Right.
But you know what?
Yeah.
He had one hell of an abuse given to him from the disconnection.
Oh, yeah.
And she should claim for him as a minor parent.
Mhm.
Um, Aaron, I don't know whether he feels that he was abused or not. I don't, I've never really got that level, but his children certainly, his girls were certainly abused from the disconnection process.
Correct.
100%. They
Yeah.
should be part of this claim. They were not
No, going
protected.
back to the original point, though, there is no person, child, whether you think or not, whether it's in your awareness or not, whether Aaron says today, oh, I was abused or I wasn't. If you were audited and kept against your will, whether you
You're
were
right.
groomed to think that was, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that,
Mhm.
it's not okay.
Right.
You're right.
That's it.
So
Like, it's
that
not
list of
okay.
186 people is
It's
triple
any child who was
because of
audited,
all the
any
rest of
child
the
who was
kids.
given ethics handlings, any child that was given grooming courses. The three pillars of Scientology. Scientology is nothing else. It's not a religion. It's not a, oh, let's go pray. It's not nothing. Did you do a course? Great. Did you complete it? Great. Here's your certificate. Did you go out ethics? Great. We're going to give you a program and now we're going to handle your ethics.
Mhm.
Children locked up by ethics officers, humiliated, degraded, told that they're disgusting, degraded people, that they're, just a bunch of
Yeah.
suppressive degenerates. Like, why are children being told this with a straight face from a hotel who claims to want to save a world?
Yeah.
And the last but not least, the audits, which are the most disgusting, most egregious, and most abominable and indefensible. I dare a Scientology parent to come forward and defend what you do to children in the audits. All Scientology parents know what this is. This isn't a case of Larry Nassar where all the gymnasts thought, oh, I'm going to take him to a doctor. Oh, and then all the parents were appalled to understand that this doctor wasn't a doctor.
Yeah.
So imagine us. Our parents knew we weren't being taken to a doctor. Our parents knew we were getting locked up against our will. Our parents
Mhm.
knew this was an extreme role play. Our parents were 100% literally getting the role plays themselves and never thought, gee, I wonder if I'm so extreme and I wouldn't want my child to be going through what I'm going through. So
I
all
can't even
Scientology
imagine.
parents, that's on you. You liked it? Great. You didn't think that your child had the capacity to, have an opinion, form an opinion, or figure it out. You shoved it down their throat. How MF dare you?
Mhm. Mhm. We have a good question here. from this dog, Defender of Gems Has Fleas, that just came in. Can children from other countries do a report if they were abused in the United States, but now live in their home country, like Canada or Scotland, etc.? I can't click on that search, but it's right there. I don't know. I don't know what this. I mean, I'll be honest. None of us are lawyers, so the statute of limitations might still be there. I would encourage, like Serge was saying, everybody send in this form. If you think it applies to you or applies to someone, send it in. Because the more
you were
people,
in U.S. soil. That's the point, though. I mean, the FBI is not going to help
happened
you.
in the United States, so yes.
Yeah,
So
this
you were
isn't
brought
a
in to
yeah,
clear-
it's not a statute of limitations deal at
No.
all, because it's not a legal, it's not a an attorney case. It is a complaint against the FBI for not protecting you.
Mhm.
So I in my mind, I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, let's say you live in Scotland, but you were here. The FBI didn't protect you when you were here, so
Nope.
yeah, I think it would
Yeah.
apply to you.
Well,
Yeah.
and moreover, every body that exists of law enforcement in this country is replicated, right? The United Kingdom has their own FBI. Australia has their
Right.
own FBI. So this
Right.
is all of these agencies failing AF. Imagine how pathetic they all are. None of them caught it. None of them.
Mhm.
None of them. Nowhere. There's not one example of a single law enforcement agency in the world.
No, it's this.
Yeah.
We see nothing,
Like,
we
yeah.
hear nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is correct. I just wanted to bring that up because I want to encourage everyone who's watching around the world, because these protests are taking place around the world. Scientology has a presence around the world, and most Scientologists at some point have been trafficked to America to do work here at either the Mecca or one of those, Fakakta buildings at Big Blue. So there we go. We've got a lawyer chiming in. If it happened in the United States, it applies. Doesn't matter if the victim is national of another country. Thank you, Carrie J, for chiming in on
Carrie
that.
J.
So it's just what we need to do is we need to get this complaint to be taken seriously and to be acknowledged and to have an actual investigation start happening. Because if Merrick Garland has enough time to prosecute Apple for being a supposed menace to society, okay, then they have enough time to get these kids out of Scientology, to shut these doors down, and to, do away with this sham of a so-called religion, okay, and get all that money back. Because I'll tell you one thing that the government is always interested in: fuck human rights, fuck children, and all that other stuff. What they care about? Money. And if they haven't gotten to touch all that money, that's
well,
going to
yeah,
get
but no, figure out this. This is a case where the FBI is about to lose a lot of money because the FBI has messed everything up. They've messed up everything, and there's decades of them messing it up. It wasn't just like a few. We're talking this. Every single thing that was done to us as children is being done today without any guardrails, without any watering down, without any alterations of what the convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard pitched. So that is the lack of due diligence on this couldn't be more egregious. And it was all right there. So everything we say, it's not just like, oh, we have such an opinion of this or that. L. Ron Hubbard wrote it. When I say kids get kidnapped inside hotel rooms, I didn't just pull that out of my head. There's the auditor's code that says that the auditor has the right to lock up that person and not let them end the session on their own determinism.
Yep.
Your auditor decides for you when you leave the room. If the PC tries to take control of the session, the auditor gets their head chopped. So imagine you're putting kids as young as 12, as it was in my case, to be doing that with full-grown adults.
Yeah.
What type of an adult goes and pays to be serviced by a minor? What type? Where's that example in society other than a Scientology hotel? Please, other than in illegal brothels where children are being literally sold. But you know what? This one is hosted in the front of Sunset Avenue. There's LAPD guarding them, ensuring that more kids get ensnared as if they're not running Kid Fest.
Yeah.
That's what their event is called right now. Kid Fest.
I mean, they're not even hiding it. They're not even trying to be like subdued about like, they're talking a lot about these kids. Maybe we should just not have kids. Now they're like, oh no, let's bring all the kids. I want all. They're just they can't be more obvious about this. We've seen the Facebook posts of parents celebrating their kids, up the bridge. We've seen this fest going on. We see the kids advertised in their schools, doing all this stuff. They start the indoctrination as early as humanly possible with children. We went through that as kids, me and Serge. And we, when you were correct, Mona, when Liz Gale put out that receipt and she defiantly stood in front of Celebrity Center talking directly to the security camera, telling them, we are the last generation to go through this. We fucking meant that. We are not playing. This is not a game. This is not for fun. We are all dealing with our own trauma on the day to recover and do this. But this is a mission to save the rest of the kids who don't know
what's happening to them.
They don't even know because
we
they're
were
just
in the exact same situation, you guys.
Yeah.
There were
we're not going to allow it.
We were there. Lisa McPherson. Oh my God, Lisa McPherson died. An adult that was there. And yes, she shouldn't have died. And yes, they shouldn't have committed any illegal acts on adults or kids. But imagine that us, when we were there as kids, nobody was asking for us. Nobody cared that we were ensnared. Nobody cared that we were being audited, that we were being ethics handled, and that we were being put through grooming, disgusting courses. And again, Nora and I would know we were in those courses. We were the kids that they were tapping to bring more kids. We couldn't be more disgusted or nauseated that at an age where we didn't have the ability to be, oh yeah, this is a great place for me to spend my adulthood in. But that's how we were pitched. Oh, you're an adult and already you're 12, you're an adult. It doesn't matter. So, and then I did see something that was said here. Child abuse legalized because the feds are afraid to confront the cloak of religious protection. Well, let the feds not be so scared. Let's unscare the feds really quickly. There's video recordings of what these audits of these kids that get done. Feds. So if you're gonna go, P. Diddy's having a freak off party. Oh my God, let's really all worry about grown adults in those parties. In the Scientology hotels, kids. The freak offs are happening with kids. The audits are a freak off. If you have a child locked up in a hotel, that's an underage child being subjected to unthinkable, disgusting sexual subjects, which they went to. We were groomed to make sure that when that happened, that's what they told us in the drill. That's what we were drilling with a doll.
Yeah.
The doll said all those masturbation things. That's how they groomed us. They groomed us with dolls, FBI. So stop playing dumb. In what world are you going to defend that children are being groomed with dolls, like literally Pedo 101, and you're still very pressed to, God forbid you insult who? Our parents?
Yeah, I mean, the difference between P. Diddy and Scientology is that Scientology is a religion and P. Diddy was a rapper. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but
can you imagine the LAPD?
Problem is happening the same way. Like a hotel, it's a hotel, it's a hotel. Like they can call it a religion, but it's still a hotel where people are checking in, where people are paying for that service, where people are paying to be serviced by a child, paying rates of high-end prostitutes at best. Who the hell pays $500 an hour for time with a child inside a hotel room? Who?
We know who.
Well, we know who.
It's not any. Yeah, I mean, nobody we hang around with, but it's normalized. It's okay because it's a religion, so it's a religious practice, right? So everybody just looks the other way.
The devil's in the details. Our religious practice is a glib pitch. What's the detail? Oh, the child ends up locked up against their will inside the hotel.
No, you and I know that. I'm just saying that is how they've gotten away with it for these decades since 1952, when Scientology was formed, is that it's a religion. And so anything that goes under the cloak of religion is okay because it can be weird, it can be bad, it can be
No, but
wrong.
you need to stop saying that because again, it's fraud. Fraud is not religion. You need to
I agree with
understand.
you.
that
I'm just saying that's how they got away with it.
I know how
Yes.
they've been washing it away, but you know what? It's not even good enough, Nora, because again, all the rhetoric is written. All the kids that have come out of this begging for help have not been helped. All of the abuses continue, supervised, video recorded. They're video recording their criminal acts, FBI.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, like, in what world can you record a crime and then pretend that you didn't know the crime existed or happened? Not inside those hotels. And inside those hotels, there is no boundaries on data. There is no boundaries with minors. There is no common sense because everyone's common sense was hijacked by a convicted felon. That's what the alarm is being sounded on. So all this wishy-washy BS is about how, oh, the religion. Shut the F up already about a religion. It's not a religion. If you're locking up a child, aggravated child abuse is not a religion. Ruby Frankie is the example. Ruby Frankie
Exactly.
thought she was getting demons out of their kids as she was handcuffing them. You know what? You can call it whatever delusional thing you called it, pathetic situation that it was. And all of you are compromised, Scientology parents. If you are a parent and you ensnared your child to this, you have blood coagulated on your hands. And guess what? No amount of bleach is going to bleach that coagulation. That's permanent stains on your hands. It's called you are a felon that hasn't been indicted. That's who you are. So yes, the FBI hasn't indicted you. Nothing has been proven in court. Gee, I wonder why.
Because it's been brushed under the rug. Now, I have to tell you guys something. I know it's been an hour here, but I need to tell you too, Nora and
Yes.
Serge, Liz and Liz, Jamie, Reese, Aaron, Amber, Miriam. Oh, my heart just sinks for Miriam. Okay, I'm a never in. I cannot imagine as a mom. Serge, my son's about your age. Nora, you're my little sister's age. And I'm a Grammy. I am a fat Grammy. I am true to my name. And I would pew pew you if you did this to my children or my grandchildren. There would be no going to the FBI, okay? This is a never ends thought of this. There is no, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
This is my gift to you guys, okay? This is my love for you. This will take down the Mormons. This will take down the Jehovah Witness. This will be, you two are the leaders of this. You will take down this cult. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
And
Mona.
guys, all three of us are going to be posting on our community tabs the form and the link in a community post immediately after this, because we all need to file this immediately, ASAP, RTFN, all of the acronyms, because there is nothing more important than getting this hot and heavy. And also, guys, if you don't go to sptv.space, if you've never been there, please go there, support all of the streamers. Mona, everybody else who's out there on the daily. Serge is obviously out there a lot. Lara FM, and all of the people who are out there, Streets and Jessica and all them, and everybody across the country and the world. Thank you, guys. Thank you. This has been a long time coming, but it is happening because of your work, because of your advocacy, because of your willingness to stand up for us and
Everybody
say,
is a piece of
this
the
is
puzzle.
enough. And it is such an amazing feeling. Like Serge and I have talked about this many times about how unbelievably supported we feel right now for like the first time in our lives in such an enormous way, to be seen and someone to go, yes, I hear you. And it's not just one person, like your therapist or your spouse or something. It's like, okay, I hear you. I love you. It's like thousands of people. And this is how it ends. This is how all of this ends. And we get justice for our baby selves and justice for all of the kids that are still in there right now. And I'm so grateful, Mona, for what you've done. And we need to just make sure we're gonna, repost this everywhere, and we're gonna put the
And if anybody has any questions or gets hung up, don't hesitate to DM me. Don't hesitate to put a thing on there. I'll get back with you. I promise. I will walk you through it. There is, and I'll put the website or the email address. I did make an email address. Like, Serge, I'm going to give you access to it. It's a Gmail. So that way nobody feels that they're giving me private information. But if you would email this email address and say 1 or 4, if you had 4 people in your family, that way for statistics purpose, we can go back and say, Congress, we had 500 frickin' people submit this, or we had 5 people. But
Right.
so that way we know how far we can push that. If we,
Sure.
we don't want to go in and say we had 1,000 when we only had 100.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
we want to be somewhat realistic. So, and the email address, and I'll put it in the thing, is it's OIGFSciento. I was real original with that. 2024. And we'll put it in our, here, I'll write it on the thing here.
I got it.
At Gmail. Yep. And I'll give Serge that, so that way he can be responsible for, so you're not thinking that you're giving me any information. We're not gonna, if you're under the radar, we're not gonna email you back and go, hey, good thing you just filed this claim.
And yes,
Mona,
and all
honestly,
the
this
people
is
who are
word of
under the
mouth.
radar. Right. Oh, go ahead, Serge. Go ahead.
It's really about, us, like, reach out to your network, inform them of the possibility that there is something you can do that is simple, that is taking that first baby step, right? Like, there's not one single silver bullet for any of this problem. This is a problem that's been decades in the making, and the corruption is beyond belief. Like, literally, like Jenna's book. It's like the fact that nothing has changed has only shown us that the truth, like L. Ron Hubbard did teach us, is not getting confronted. And when the truth is not confronted, nothing changes, if nothing literally changes. And that's why we have no change whatsoever. We're sounding the alarm for even all the adults swallowing the rhetoric of a convicted felon. Even y'all should go really check why the hell this was pitched to you as a valid thing. Because you know what? Somebody's got to pay for this fraud. And everyone's families have been ripped apart at the core. Like, all families that are subjected to this are ensnared and compromised in unthinkable ways. And there's so much pain involved, but it needs to be undone. And the first step to being undone is not causing the harm anymore. That's why we're going there. That's the most important thing. Who's the most at risk right now? The kids that are there right now being audited. There's kids being audited right now as we're having this live. They're being asked, did you masturbate today? How did you masturbate? Oh, what were you thinking about when you were masturbating? Why are children being asked that? Right? Because it's like...
Or asking adults that.
Either way, it's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. And LAPD, write it on your notes. That's who you defend on a daily basis. Imagine being you, pathetic and stupid, and not able to investigate. I mean, imagine that to investigate, you have to have intelligence and connect dots and find patterns and pull strings. Like, there's no string pulling. None.
Yeah.
So law enforcement, yes, shout out to you, Mona. Thank you for, thinking of, just another baby step that we can all take,
Everybody just needs to stand up and say, not one more child.
Exactly.
Not one more child.
That's it. Occupy Scientology. If you think you're going to get rid of the occupation until not every single one child He's not
Amen.
entering into those buildings. Your occupation's never going to end. There's not going to be a day that this abominable, disgusting crime is not being protested.
And if you
AF.
think- yeah, if you think the other protesters in the other cities aren't also going to set up Occupy, you think again, Scientology. Look how this all started with one dude standing outside the test center, and then everybody else just came and popped up because the Neverends are saying no more. And they
If this
are
fat,
more than you.
disabled grandma can do it, so can you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, let's
right,
go
guys.
through
Well,
some
thank
super
you.
chats really quickly.
All right, do your super chats.
Thank you for becoming a member. Jill Davison, thank you for gifting a membership. You're the great. Michael Andreas, 513 don't talk about crimes. It talks about incursion. It talks about substantial political activities. Oh, we did that already. I already did that.
Yeah, you did that one. All right.
What about mandatory people?
Report it. Report it. If you're a mandatory reporter, report it.
Well, no, and this was actually a good thing that came up, and Mona, I wanted to discuss this with you again, right? Because the question about mandated reporters is actually very, very important, because the problem with Scientology is that auditors are not mandated reporters, right? No. They do data mine the information, the crime, and all of that, but then they all keep that internal. There's never a report ever generated to any law enforcement anywhere. So that's why I always say that they're laundering criminal activity. Why? Because they get the crime fully admitted, they get it on a video recorded, they get it all transcribed, and then pay me $50K, call American Express, have them wire that money. There's wire fraud right there. I mean, there's every type of fraud, because
there is, and we could have went through all sorts of different categories of different illegal activities, but the best and easiest one to provide is the receipts.
Even priests are now mandated reporters. In what world is Scientology not having that? A religious counselor is
a mandated reporter.
But
they're only called religious counselors when it's convenient. It's like them with all their sorts of different laws over at the Blue Building. They conveniently call whatever they want to most apropos.
The word mandated reporter doesn't exist in Scientology, because you only report things to Scientology. There's no other there's nothing else being reported in any other way.
But as religious counselors, they're supposed to be taking mandatory training, reporter training, and doing all of that, but they don't, because they're not called that. Counselors
to figure it out. And last one here from Mama D. Mona, well said and wonderful work. This Mama Never In is here for you, and hugs.
Lots of hugs.
Lots of hugs, you guys. Well, thank you so much for all of you who are joining us. Thank you for all the continued support. We have so many more updates and things going on, and every single day we're going to continue taking whatever many baby steps we need to take. So we do see a day where there's going to be literally not a single shred of a child ensnared inside of those disgusting hotels.
Yep.
So
and again,
thank you
loves,
guys all for
hugs to
watching.
my son and my little sister.
Subscribe to Mona's channel too, guys.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.